Hello, my name is Glenister. I'm an influencer marketing strategist, author, and podcaster on influence. Over the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to be sharing with you what influencer marketing is all about and how you can implement it in your business. Never before has it been more important to show your personal brand as a thought leader. We trust the opinions of experts, thought leaders, and influencers more than we do traditional advertising. So, why is this? Well, we want to hear from real people telling real stories that truly resonate with us and, of course, our values. So, what is influencer marketing? Well, it's nothing new. Word of mouth marketing has been around for years. Influencer marketing is essentially just promoting a product or service with an individual, i.e. an influencer. And brands have been using people in their marketing for years. And if you think of Marlboro Man, Ronald McDonald, Aunt Bessie, the man from Del Monte, the Milk Tray Man, and so many others. What's different now, of course, is influencers have an authentic voice and are not merely brand puppets. Having analysed influencers for some time, there are some real qualities that make the top ones really stand out. And this is what I think. So they produce a high-level content, for example, using high-quality cameras for outstanding imagery and video content. They're often expert editors or know how to create awesome transitions to provide entertaining content. They do think about the location and setting to ensure it's relevant to their message. They focus on a niche and their social media is totally aligned with their message. And that's why many are focused on creating the right Instagram grid look. They're authentic storytellers and know how to enthuse and engage their audiences. And if they're B2B influencers, they're often technical experts, speakers, authors. And they may work on collaborations with brands to include their training or research. But above all, they know their numbers. They know what type of content creates the greatest engagement. After all, most brands are looking for engagement as opposed to mere follower numbers. And I've been amazed by the different types of influencers within different niches. One of the most popular buckets is animal influencers. And often these demand the highest fees. Well, obviously not the animals, but the owners. Doug the Pug is a dog living in Nashville, Tennessee. But he's also a big celebrity in social media as well. And he's got over 6 million Facebook followers, 2 million followers on Twitter, and 3.4 million followers on Instagram. And then we've also got CGI or virtual influencers growing in popularity as well. Little Michaela is a 19-year-old robot living in LA and she has over 3 million followers. So of course there are influencers all around us. But there's been considerable growth of late in micro and nano influencers, and these have smaller audiences and are seen to be much more in touch with their followers. Fashion influencer Teza, for example, creates awesome content, and in a survey that I conducted with the Branded Content Marketing Association, she came up top of the list of influencers that they most admire. And they said it was her passion, consistency, and the quality of content that made it the reasons why she stood out. In my book on creating successful influencer marketing strategy, I define an influencer as someone who can who can affect change in behavior of others, often through trusted opinion, knowledge, and content creation. And through my influencer marketing program, I work with business leaders to help them increase their online influence. And here are some of the tips that might I suggest you start to implement. Firstly, ensure your brand message, strapline, and value statement appears on all social channels. Show up consistently online with relevant and relatable content. Don't share other people's content without adding some real valued insight of your own. So, for example, if you saw something from the BBC, rather than just sharing it without anything, put some commentary behind that. Because remember, your followers are following you, they're not following the BBC. Be authentic, the most important thing with influencer marketing, and tell human interest stories, and do avoid self-promotion. Host Facebook, LinkedIn or Clubhouse groups rather than just being an attendee. So effectively you get that credibility by association. Write articles for your industry magazine. You can aim to speak at targeted events. When I say targeted, I mean where your target audience is. Always aim for a keynote, or at the very least hosting a panel. And these are really good ways that get higher up the billing program. You can also write a book, or even a pocket-sized one if need be. Potentially collaborate with someone else where you could even the load but also share their audience. What else can you do? Create and develop your own podcast show. I host 2 of them, and I've generated business as a result of some of these that I've had guests on. And remember, your content needs to be inspiring, educational, and entertaining. I'll say that again: inspiring, educational, or entertaining. Make sure that you use relevant hashtags, watch your competitors, and always be aware of other exemplars so that you're consistently improving your presence. And you can do this typically on a Google Sheet. Just keep an eye on what they're doing. And then lastly, align with partners that support you and develop your own circle of influence. So there's some ideas for you for promoting your own thought leadership. But of course, some of you may just want to work with influencers to promote your brand. And there are a number of things that you can do in this area. So the first thing you can do is collaborate with them on a gifting or paid post or series of posts. That can be on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, very successfully, or indeed TikTok. Have one of them manage your own social media. It's what we call a social media takeover. And the benefit here is, of course, is that they're working your account. So you're starting to realize what they're doing, how they're reaching new audiences. So that's often a really good way. You can run a competition or challenge with them to provide giveaways, and this is found to be one of the most engaging ways to work with audiences. You can use an affiliate link that is specific to each influencer so that you can track traffic back to your website, maybe conference sign-ups, app downloads, that sort of thing. You can offer a commission to the influencer and a discount to their audiences, and you've probably seen that already, very popular in the fashion and beauty space. You could create a white paper or ebook and have them write a piece in it, or that they could create it for you. You could ask them to create a video or a range of photos that you can use on your social media or other collateral, but do remember to ask them for permission or indeed have an agreement to do this, because you shouldn't just assume that just because they are creating content for you that you can use it on your social media without that express permission. You can use an influencer to get feedback on a new product idea. There are many examples of new products that have been created entirely from influencers. You can create a brand with an influencer or a joint venture. So again, many in the fashion industry have seen this work extremely successfully. What else can you do? You can create an ambassador program for longer term partnerships. These are very, very successful. And if you look at the likes of Boohoo and the likes of Gymshark, they've been very, very popular. But it doesn't have to be just within the fashion industry. There can be lots of others as well. Live stream broadcast interview or a sales promotion. This is making a huge difference. And particularly in China, which is sort of leading the way in the influencer space. Alibaba and Amazon put out a request last year for 100,000 influencers that they were looking for, which obviously proves the value of what they can bring to brands. You can also invite an influencer to be a guest at your event or on your podcast, or attend your conference. So at the B2B marketing event about a couple of years ago, I interviewed a top influencer, and it was easily the best attended event. I mean, there were individuals that just merely came to the show to listen to the talk with her. Now, the biggest challenge with influencer marketing is to find the right influencers that do resonate with your brand. And that's why there are specialist consultants, influencer platforms, and agencies that can do this for you. And if you're doing this on your own, it will take time, you will make mistakes, but over time you'll be better at doing the research and also making sure that you're not working with influencers that have fake followers or a high concentration of audiences in different countries. A lot of the insights, particularly on Instagram, will show this. How much does it cost to work with an influencer, I hear you ask? Well, it can depend on so many variables. As a rough rule of thumb, allow $10 per 1,000 followers. But it will actually be probably a lot less than this, as it's very, very competitive. You'll need to make sure that you have a proper brief prepared to share with the influencer, and if payment is involved, a contract certainly clearly explaining the terms will be necessary. And post-campaign, you'll want to see how effective the campaign was. Again, some of the influencer platforms can do this for you. On Instagram, the influencer can share this with you as they've got all of their insights on their posts. But before you embark upon a campaign with an influencer, you must make sure that you set some smart goals so that the campaign can be measured, because obviously what gets measured gets managed. And remember, the influencer wants the same success from the campaign as you do. Don't treat the influencer as a glorified salesperson rather. They're not, nor are they your employees. In many instances, you want to work with them, not the other way round. So use my approach of the jab, punch approach, which is effectively trying to build up a relationship with them, so they start to see you on their feeds. In other words, if you follow your ideal influencers, comment or like on their content a few times, then reach out with a really nicely worded email making reference to their content and how you would love to work with them. Hopefully that makes sense. So my final words are, give influencer marketing a go and include it in your business strategy. Make sure that you measure everything and allow time, because you may not get instant results. So there you go. There's a few ideas for you to consider influencer marketing. If you'd like to find out more about creating your own influencer marketing strategy, then do head over to my website, which is gordonglenister.com, or you can follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook.